What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Road Tech Gaming Podcast, and we are back with The Last of Us. The show hasn't come back officially yet, but we are going to do just a video, kind of what our thoughts are going to be on the new season, the new actors that are going to be playing the characters from the game, what we think about them, if they're a good fit, if they're not a good fit, and what's going to change in this upcoming season that we saw from the trailers. So this is the homie Sean. As always, what's up, man? How are you?
Was good. Kind of excited to talk about this stuff. Excited to get into it.
Same Z's. So we just watched the trailer right now. It's still as good as the first time that we saw it. There was a couple of things that, well, I guess one thing, like at the beginning of the trailer, where he was all like, when he asked her, like, "Are you good?" and she's like, "Yeah."
You okay?
Yeah.
Poor Bella, bro. Poor Bella Ramsey. There's so much hate. So much scrutiny.
I don't know. I mean, it just looked weird. It was just funny to me. But yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. So I
She's
mean,
just a different kind of Ellie.
Yeah, definitely. She's definitely a different kind of Ellie. I don't know, man. So as far as now, like, so we got the first season with her. In the first game, she was a young Ellie. Now in the second season, it's supposed to be taken off from like the second game. She's a little bit older, like 4 or 5 years older. She's pretty much like an adult now. So they still kept what's her name, Bella Ramsey. So Bella, like, to me, Bella Ramsey still looks like a kid, maybe like 15, 16. I don't know if she was the best choice to play the adult Ellie, but I mean, we'll see. She did really good in the first season, I think. She didn't really need all the hate that she got. Like, I felt like she did really good. I think we both think that she did really good in the first season as far as acting and portraying like young Ellie. So, I mean, what do you think about the second season, her still portraying like older Ellie?
I mean, I'm more willing to give her the benefit of the doubt in this season. I was more skeptical season 1. In the first season, I think what really helped is when you actually binge the first season. When you binge it, you can actually see her character grow throughout each episode. She does a really good job becoming Ellie throughout each episode. And my favorite episode of her is definitely like toward the end, which I think I want to say it's like episode 7. I think it's episode 7 when she's trying to like find help for Joel, who's like in the cabin, and then she gets caught up with that group. With what's his name, the cannibal dudes,
David.
Yeah, David. Like, that episode between her and David was like an amazing episode. You know, I'm always trying to figure out, okay, like did the show do it better or did the game do it better? You know, and that was the first time where it was like a toss up for me, because I love Ashley Johnson's Ellie so much. That episode with David was just like, damn, like that was good. Like it could go either way in my mind. So I'm kind of hoping we get more of that in season 2. I'm kind of hoping we see like more of Bella Ramsey like progress as Ellie. But I don't really have like high like expectations. I'm just gonna let this one sort of just happen as it happens. Which is kind of my mindset going into it anyways. I was like, okay, like they did such a good on season 1. I don't care what they do in season 2, as long as they just keep bringing the heat. You know what I mean?
For sure. So yeah, so I think we're both excited for what she's going to bring for the character in second season. Because, I mean, a lot of shit goes down in the second, at least the second part of the game. I think the second season is only going to be like maybe a quarter of the game. I know they said that they're gonna try to get a couple more seasons out of the second game, because there was so much that happened in the second game. They went to so many different locations and so many like story arcs that happened. They definitely have enough content for a couple more seasons.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to not talk spoiler because we played the game. So I'm going to try to avoid that. I'm going to try to avoid like spoiling anything story related. because it's going to be such a huge part of the show. That being said, some of the significant events that happen in the game, it makes me kind of scared for season 2 because I don't know how they're going to do it. Like, there's a lot of, if you take the game, if you break it into segments, they can definitely squeeze a lot out of that if they want to go multiple seasons. Like, there's definitely, I feel like you could break the game down into like 4 sections of like events that happen in like shifting perspectives and whatnot. So with that said, I think Druckmann, if he takes the same liberties he did with the first season and kind of like changes a few things here and there, I'm totally okay with that. But it's like, do you want them to like rip the Band-Aid off like right from the beginning, or are we going to get sort of like this slow burn, knowing eventually like what's going to happen? I think that's what's hard for me. Like, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I know it's going to happen, and I'm just like, fuck, when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen,
Yeah, when I think about that part of the game, like them bringing it to real life, I feel like it's really gonna have like a Walking Dead type reaction. I'm not gonna get into it. If you know, but yeah, they did lose a lot of their viewership after that. But I mean, that's what happened in the comics. They're going off of the comics, and they went into the TV show, and they were just being true to the source material. So we'll see. But as for me, I kind of hope they slow burn it, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. So I think anything more is gonna be too spoilery.
Spoiler territory. We're gonna try to avoid spoilers on this episode, just because like I know there's a lot of people that have never played the games and have only watched the shows. And I mean, even though there's definitely like spoiler stuff out there already, it was impossible. We definitely want people to be sort of like, surprised the way that we were the first time. That being said, how do you feel so far about the overall cast? Like, we already talked about Bella. I mean, Pedro's Joel, I think, is a lock. I think we kind of felt that way from the first season. But how do you feel about other characters, other cast that they've chosen for the characters?
Yeah, we can go into them one by one, just kind of like speed through them. So they have Caitlin Dever as Abby, and I was going through her like discography of, I know it's not what you call it, but
filmography
of all the stuff that she's been in, and I've never seen her in anything. So I am excited to see how she portrays Abby. Abby is a huge character in the game, so I'm really hoping that she does a really good job and
huge because of the muscles or what she contributes to the story.
Yeah, I just got to go off of the story of her acting, because she doesn't look anything like Abby from the game, like physique wise. Maybe the face she does, that they look a little bit similar, but as far as like the physique, like Abby in the game looks like a freaking bodybuilder, like Arnold Schwarzenegger with like a girl's face. Like, that's what she looks like. And I'm looking at pictures of Caitlin Dever, and she's just like a typical like regular girl.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the standard, though. So Neil Druckmann did in an interview say that it's going to be different, the way they portray characters in the show versus the way they are in the game. Like, the reason why certain characters are the way they are in the game is because playing as some of these characters, or the way they're portrayed in the game, it has to serve a purpose. So Abby's character had to be built a specific way because of the way the game was played. So they're not necessarily going to make Caitlin Dever like a buff, like a Rambo girl, because that's not really like the point of her character. Like, they're going to get her character correct, but you're not going to be like playing as a character where you actually have to like duck and run and do melee and all that kind of stuff. So that being said, like I think she's cast very well. I think like if we think about what her character contributes to the story, um, I think she's a good character choice. Like it makes sense to me.
Okay. So moving on, we got young Mazzino as Jesse. So Jesse is I don't know, man. Like I don't really want to spoil it, but like he's a character that's in between or close to Dina and Ellie. He didn't really have a big part in the game, but he I don't remember much about his character.
Yeah, I mean there were moments. I mean, if we want to just like break it down to just absolute basics of gameplay, he is a companion from the city or the town of Jackson that all of the main characters are holed up in. So he has a relationship with some of the main characters in the show. You know, there's parts of the game where you play alongside him, like he's sort of like a you know, like a side character that like is with you during some missions too. So he does contribute a little bit. I don't want to talk about like what his significance is in terms of to the characters. As far as the casting though, I mean I'm not trying to be mean, but like it's an Asian dude that looks like an Asian dude. So hopefully his acting, you know, is at least on par with the character in the video game, but kind of hard to mess that one up. I guess.
Yeah, and the same with him. I don't think I've seen him in anything. He doesn't look familiar.
Yeah.
But somebody that does look familiar is probably my new favorite addition to the cast is Isabella Merced as Dina.
Yeah.
So Isabella Merced has come out like in a lot of stuff. She's coming out in dude, I forgot the name. Oh, what is it?
A superhero movie.
Oh, in Superman. She's coming out in Superman.
Yeah, she'll be in Superman. She's like Hawk Girl, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then she was just in Romulus, Alien Romulus, that we just watched too. She was in the Transformers, one of the Transformers movies with Marky Mark. She has popped up in quite a few. She was Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Isabella Merced though. I think she's a great actress. I don't know that she would have been my pick for Dina. I probably would have thought of a lot of other actresses because she's a pretty significant actress. Even to cast her as Dina, like Dina is obviously very important to the show, but there's a lot of stuff that happens in the game that doesn't really involve Dina all that much. If we're talking about like overall screen time, so I don't know that I would have picked her, but she is a good actress. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Either way, I'm excited for her to be in the show. She's I wouldn't say like up and coming. She kind of like solidified herself in an acting career now, so happy to have her.
She kind of reminds me sort of like a Jenna Ortega in a way. I mean, they're both kind of the same age. I would like to see Isabella Merced pop up in a lot more like significant roles. I feel like she's really only played support characters and support roles so far. I was super sad when she basically like died in Alien Romulus. Spoiler alert. That movie's like a year old now. But I would have liked her character to last, you know.
But her lineage did live on.
Yeah, I guess so. Call it that.
All right. Okay. So next up, we got Catherine O'Hara as Gail. She looks like she's like a therapist type. She did come out in Beetlejuice.
That's probably her most known role.
Yeah, she does look like what is the girl from
Christina Applegate?
Yes, there you go. Yeah, she does look like, I get them confused a lot because they do look alike.
There's like a 20-year age gap between the two of them.
Yeah, I guess maybe when they were young, like when Catherine was young, like when the other one was a little bit older, like they probably look similar.
She's a good actress too, though. I know she's been in a lot more than just Beetlejuice over the years, but I think she's a good actress. She's also in I think it was a Pepsi commercial or a Bud Light commercial where it's her and Willem Dafoe. They're like playing tennis. A bunch
Oh
of
yeah,
young
yeah.
people. It was a Super Bowl commercial.
Okay, yeah. She was like, "Do you want to play a game?" And they're like, "We're kind of out of your league," type thing.
Yeah,
We're on
yeah.
a different level.
Okay, yeah. So her character. And I don't think this is necessarily spoiler territory, but like there really isn't a therapist type person in the game. So having her cast is probably just more for character development type stuff. I don't want to. I don't want to try and guess like what the point of her character is. Like you can see her talking to Joel at the beginning of like the first trailer that dropped. So I think it's just kind of helping with that character development, and we'll see how her role sort of like translates into the show, and then I'll probably get more thoughts and opinions as that goes on.
Okay. So moving on, we got Jeffrey Wright as Isaac. I don't remember Isaac from the game. I know he's in there because I saw another video about like they were talking about the actors to characters, and they showed his little piece in the game. But yeah. I'm thinking like his character had to come out like in the middle of the game, kind of like when they were fighting the scarred bald people.
Yeah. Well, his role is a part of like one of the factions. Man, it's hard not to give like too many things. So it's one of the groups. I think it's Abby's group. So Abby's part of a group, and I think Isaac is associated with that group. And obviously the way he's portrayed in the trailer, like he's not a very good dude, which is kind of on par with how he is in the game. I just don't remember seeing a lot of him in the game because he was just there to kind of like develop the story and kind of give more insight on like how Abby's group is run, so to speak. But he might have a bigger role in the show, especially if they're trying to squeeze like more seasons out of it.
Yeah, so you guys might remember him from Westworld. I think he was in the first couple seasons. I had stopped watching after the second season. I said he came out in the Batman, so
he's in Hunger Games.
Yeah, so he's come out in a lot of stuff.
He was Commissioner Gordon in the Robert Pattinson Batman movie.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. He's an excellent actor, actually.
Yeah. All right, so moving on. I think these are going to be like less known characters. Probably not a lot of screen time on the show. We got Dana Ramirez as Manny, which I don't. I guess he was the Falcon in like the new Winter Soldier, or in the
sure, yeah,
in the new Captain America movie. He was the Falcon, so remember him from that. I mean, he was pretty good in those movies. Nothing too much to complain about.
Don't know much about him.
Yeah. So moving on, we got Ariella Barrier. I think it's Barrier as Mel. Just another character, not too much there. Too much to talk about. So moving on, we got Tati Gabrielle as Nora, which I don't even remember this character in the game.
I think I know who she is, but I don't want to say nothing.
Okay. Yeah, it says she was a medic. So next we got Spencer Lord as Owen, which I again don't know.
I know who Owen is.
Okay. I mean, you're probably brushed up better on the game than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much it for like the big returning cast names, or for the new cast.
You missed one.
Did I miss one?
Yeah. Gabriel Luna is also coming back as Tommy.
Oh yeah, that's the returning cast.
Yeah, he had kind of a small role in the first season. Like we really only saw him in like the very first episode, and then like episode 7, I think, when they come across Jackson. But like depending on how much they give us in season 2, Tommy's definitely a lot more significant in the second game for sure compared to the first game. So I'm kind of curious to see how they pull that off, like his character development in season 2 and so on, because he was definitely like a much bigger impact in the second game than the first game.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that's pretty much it for the actors to characters. We can kind of get into more of the trailer that we watched. Something that I wanted to talk about was it looks like they're going to introduce spores in the second season, which they didn't introduce in the first season. Instead, they went with the whole like Vine underground connection.
They're connected.
More than you know. The fungus also grows underground. Long fibers like wires, some of them stretching over a mile. You step on a patch of cordyceps in one place, and you can wake a dozen infected from somewhere else.
Like hive mind type thing, which that isn't in the game, so it's very new to us who watch the show. It was kind of like what is that?
Yeah.
But they didn't use it a lot. I think they used it in 2 episodes out of like the 8 or 9 episodes that they had. So it was kind of like they didn't need to introduce that because they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
It was kind of a waste to me, in my opinion.
Which, you know, they might do a little bit more of it in the second season. Like there's like, I think remembering when Druckmann was doing like their interview, like him and the other director, Mezin, I think his name's like something Mezin. I don't remember the other director's name, but they were saying how they wanted to make that more of a significant thing moving forward. So I guess we'll see how that goes. It definitely like changes a lot in terms of like how cautious you have to be around any like clickers or infected people, because now it's just like you can potentially like bring like a whole horde of them if you're like sending that signal out somehow. So we'll see how they play that through. Like it could definitely set things up to be very like tense and I don't know.
Yeah.
Thrilling.
I kind of wish that they would have just did the spores in the first season just to make it more game accurate, especially because they didn't do much with it. I felt like they could have did way more with the spores in the first season.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, we're not directors. We're just watchers. Yeah.
We just played the game.
Yeah, we just critique everything.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, other than that, other than the spores, you know, we pretty much see all the characters. There was a lot of call outs from the second game, some flashbacks that, you know, like really touched our hearts, and stuff that really brought back like good memories with certain characters.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like getting goosebumps. I still get goosebumps watching the trailers. So even though I don't want to have expectations, I feel like subconsciously my expectations are still very high. The scenes that they show just look really good. The tone and the mood that they're trying to set with each of those, like it feels like The Last of Us. Like they're definitely like nailing the aesthetic of it. It's really just going to come down to where they take the story, how they tell the story. But everything looks really good. I mean, the trailer is pretty much almost 1-to-1 from the game. Like a lot of the imagery from it kind of emulates the game very well. I got some really cool battles with some infected, some clickers. Supposedly there's going to be a lot of that in season 2 compared to season 1, so I'm excited for that as well. But yeah, I mean, it would really take a lot to disappoint me if they're at least going to pull off what they did with the first season.
Yeah, so maybe we could do like one more little segment before we end this one. I'm trying to keep this one a little bit short. But how many seasons do you think that they can push out of, you know, just one more game that came out? As far as, you know, like the first season was like basically 1-to-1 with the game and the seasons. I felt like they could have pushed way more out. Do you feel like they can do that with the second season and just come out with like 5-6 more seasons?
5 and 6 is a lot. I'm thinking like maximum you could probably get 3 seasons. If we're only talking about like 8 episodes or 9 episodes per season, I think you could do 3, but I don't think they should do more than 3. Reason being is because you start getting to a point where it was like The Walking Dead. I mean, you try to squeeze so much out of it. And realistically speaking, like The Last of Us Part 2, there's definitely a lot happening in the world, in the universe, but it is a very isolated story. You know, we're only looking at like a handful of characters. If they go the whole like Walking Dead thing, I think people are going to get burnt out on it. Once you start getting out of the territory of the main story that made the game so good, I feel like the audience is going to have a hard time. And the thing that worries me about that is they kind of did that shit with Game of Thrones. You know, like the Game of Thrones was like so good to a point where they started changing the story because George R. Martin didn't really have a whole lot to add to it. So they started doing their own shit, and then that's when it started falling apart. So if we get 4 complete seasons out of Last of Us, like including the first season, I think I'd be happy with that. I don't think they should do more. You know, if they try to squeeze more out of it, I don't think it's going to be very good.
Okay, so 4 total seasons is what you would like to see. Yeah, I guess I'm right there with you. Yeah, because I feel like they would do like that 4th season. They would like split it in half and do like part 1, part 2 for final season, which would be good because you would feel like 5 seasons, but with less episodes.
And like the reason why I think 3 is perfect is for reasons I can't say because it's going to spoil shit. But I feel like if you think about the game, like if you isolate like major shifts in the story from the game, I feel like that would translate very well to having like season 2, season 3, and then season 4. You know, season 4 like basically like a climax to like that last portion of the second game. It just comes down to the storytelling at that point.
Yeah, I'm sure Neil Druckmann thinks of this as his baby, and you know he's not going to want it to drag on, and he's definitely going to want everybody to watch and not get tired of it.
Yeah, and I mean, that being said, I mean you're never going to be able to satisfy everybody. There's already a lot of people that didn't like the second game because it was kind of treading on quote unquote woke territory. I don't think the show is going to be any different. So I honestly could give a shit about the haters for The Last of Us because we think it's an amazing game and we are excited about the second season. So
all right, yeah, so I think we can wrap it up here. Keep it nice and short. So the new season comes out April 13th. So we are going to be watching that, and then right after we'll do our little podcast and then put it out a couple hours after that. So
we'll give a review of the episode.
Yes. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Put the notification on so you know when the videos come out, so you can watch it after the episode and, you know, give us your thoughts on the episode because we're definitely going to give ours.
Oh, yeah.
So my name is Carlos. His name is Sean. And thank you guys for being here. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.